Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for a live platform demo. My name is Amanda Lester, and I'm on the product marketing team here at Octiv. I am joined today by one of our foremost product experts, Josh Dials. Josh Dials is the Solutions Consultant Manager on our sales team at Octiv.
Thanks, Amanda. Pleasure to be here.
In this webinar today, we are going to give you a quick overview of Octiv as a company, our platform, and the services we provide. Then we'll do a live demo to give you a first-hand look at Octiv's platform, and we'll highlight how you can connect documents to other back-end systems using our integrations. And finally, at the end of today's webinar, we will answer your questions live. So without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Josh.
Thanks again, Amanda. I'd like to start with a little who, what, and why of Octiv. Since the founding of our company, our mission has been to help transform the way companies buy and sell. We do that by helping them digitize and automate the entire process around the way users create, share, sign, and store commercial and transactional business documents. We believe that Octiv provides a best-in-class document generation and contract lifecycle management, or commonly referred to as CLM, platform. Our tech has been recognized by G2 Crowd users as leading document generation and CLM software. In fact, over the last 3 years, we posted the highest rated software in terms of customer satisfaction, market share, product direction, integrations, and global support. And we also work with some of the largest and most innovative companies worldwide, such as General Electric, Salesforce, Siemens, and T. Rowe Price to transform the creation and management of the transactional business documents. And one thing to note is that Octiv isn't dedicated or specialized to a single vertical. Really, the Octiv platform can be used across industries. That can mean financial services, insurance, high-tech, media, manufacturing, real estate, and many more. We work with a variety of customers, ranging from individual business professionals all the way up to global enterprises. This has led us to develop a platform with robust functionality that serves all those different groups and needs, while still staying vigilant and making sure we have an easy-to-use and understood user interface. Now that you have a good idea of who Octiv is and who we serve, I'd like to talk about the value that we provide to those companies, including those that I previously introduced. Really, I want to talk about how our solutions deliver measurable ROI for our customers, and I think that happens in two significant ways. The first of those is productivity impact. Octiv has a major impact on the productivity of sales teams, also legal teams, operations teams, and many others that we serve. Our solution impacts the work in progress time of the individuals on those teams. With automation, we allow them to manage more of the sales cycle by relying on automated document generation to accomplish time-consuming authoring tasks. Second, Octiv solutions help professionals to be better prepared to follow up with relevant and useful information because they have access to a robust content library as well as a lot of real-time analytics and alerts. Third, we offer best-in-class integrations that allow these teams working with Octiv to stay in their familiar work environments due to our integrations, pulling data from those back-office systems, as well as pushing data back to those systems, as well as many other connected interfaces they may use. The next measurable area is customer impact. Our customers expect accurate contracts and a frictionless buying experience. Octiv improves the quality of documents they send, as well as the experience their recipients have. Next, I'd like to highlight a few customer successes that illustrate these measurable improvements. First of those is Siemens. And for Siemens, we have increased their time in front of customers by 30% because they're no longer focused on administrative tasks that were formerly taking up a good part of their day. And by administrative, that could mean anything from the manual effort it would take to create a document, to get an approval, to route a document for additional eyes or red lines or other types of tasks, all those things that a software like Octiv could automate. Next up, for GE, we're providing a 66% reduction in cycle time to deliver at one division with over 11,000 users. Simply put, we are giving time back to that workforce. We are also offering more templates to the team to sell and close more business. They can do that because digital document delivery enables a much faster turnaround. We are shortening sales cycle times. We can use events that occur in the life cycle of a document to automatically update their back office systems and providing other areas of the organization with really valuable visibility. Finally, for T. Rowe Price, we are enabling financial advisors to sell 401k plans. In the FinServ industry, the fastest to reach out to the customer often ends up winning the deal. And so what we've done there is drive a 90% increase in productivity for those financial advisors. Their prior process was driven by a cumbersome Excel document. Now, they have more internal efficiency with automation, consistency, and control of the documents, and they ensure that the information they're sending out is the most up-to-date information. Octiv enables them to manage 80 distinct templates, condensed to more of a wizard-like doc creation workflow that selects the appropriate template and automatically assembles the document with the customer's information. Okay, so why Octiv, in addition to all the things you've talked about? I'm addressing this broad question, why Octiv, with the 4 pillars that you see here. First up, in a general sense, I believe Octiv is the most complete platform on the market. Octiv has a feature set and capabilities to deploy all types of use cases. Use cases range from early on in a sales cycle when I might need to deliver marketing documents or certain types of discovery materials to a customer or prospect, down to more of a formal proposal or an RFP response, more of a bid or a quote, and continuing down the line to what we're talking about today in depth, which is contract documents, everything from NDAs to SOWs, MSAs, and more. What's more, because of the integrations we'll talk about, we're also sending documents prior to transactional acceptance in an account management capacity, or to welcome new customers and trigger other workflows in connected systems. So we're not focused on a single use case or a single market like I've discussed. We are broad in what we offer our customers with a functionality set to match. Next, market-leading innovation. So we are leading market innovation with cutting-edge technology, and I believe we have a lot of examples, and I've listed some of those here just so I can read those off and give you an idea of what we've done in the past. We're the first to create HTML5 sales documents, the first to merge CRM data into online documents, the first and perhaps only vendor that can update a document as CRM data changes in real time. We're the first to provide document tracking and analytics surrounding opens as well as customer engagement. We're the first and only vendor to provide smart templates and reference content where you could update assets in one area and have those push out to templates throughout the organization wide. We're the first and only solution to provide online redlining in a digital capacity. And finally, we're the first and only solution to convert track changes in Microsoft Word into online redlining. So we give our customers the capability to redline both in Octiv and outside of Octiv and maintain the digital integrity and connection of that document even after it goes offline to Microsoft Word. Next up, global support. We believe we have world-class support staff working with businesses of every size and industry, helping thousands of business professionals on 6 continents increase their productivity. With our product experts, partner ecosystem, 24/7 support, and premium support packages, Octiv provides a full range of resources to help get you started and take your company's productivity to the next level. And finally, and what I think is the most powerful reason, in my opinion, is that Octiv has best-in-class integration. Our integrated partner ecosystem powers a platform on which many processes can be built. And what this means is it allows you to leverage your existing investments and further automate your workflow by tying data between multiple systems. If you require an integration with a tool that we don't currently support, just let us know. Our open API works with any custom integrations you might need. And what's more, we aren't just pulling data into documents, and there's a lot of companies out there that could do that for you. What we're also doing is pushing data into other systems, as I've mentioned. So we're pulling data to create documents, automate doc creation. We're giving real-time analytics into customer engagement as the interactions happen. And then post-acceptance, we are also sending information to other connected systems to prevent human error and reduce the time it might take to get subsequent business processes started. So you've heard me talk a little bit about the use cases and the many use cases we serve. I'd like to talk next about specifying a document lifecycle solution and really specific to contracts. Contracts are complex documents that need to be managed throughout their life cycles to mitigate potential risk. You often hear this referred to as CLM or contract lifecycle management. Even the word contract can mean different things to a lot of different companies. Every day I hear people refer to contracts or other types of agreements, transactional documents, quotes. Really, a contract is any document that needs to be generated where both parties or a single party is going to sign, and that document will basically function as a handshake, form a relationship between two organizations. Within the stages of that interaction, we really think 5 will allow you to master and boost productivity and reduce risks. The first of those stages is the creation of the document itself. So for each of these, I'm going to talk about the problems that Octiv CLM looks to solve for our clients. So for the creation of the document itself, The problem is it's often error prone and a very manual process. As you go through, you're creating multiple versions. Sometimes those versions are saved down to hard drives and they're stored throughout the organization. So you even create a contract, I need to find the appropriate template, or maybe start from a contract with this client that I've used before. That could lead to the incorrect language being inserted into a document. I don't have 2017 or 2018 language when I really need the correct language in there. So that those errors are often found. What we can provide is an automated generation solution that prevents a lot of that error. So if I have a centralized area where I have all of my language automated and approved, those languages or pieces of clauses can go into documents automatically based off of a connected system like a CRM, or even by entering some metadata directly on the contract template within Octiv. I get that document compiled in an approved fashion the first time. Next up, negotiating or sharing the contract. And you can see here what we've called it is collaboration. So collaboration can take many forms, not only approvals prior to sending a document out to my recipient, also internal red lines I might need to execute, especially if I'm working on third-party paper, as well as negotiation that happens externally between the document owner and the person who I've sent the document to. The problem there is it's cumbersome to control access and track revisions. So with a Word document, you can share that with anyone and anyone can look at it and redline it, and there's no control over that document. And the version you might get back might be version 10, and you really don't know that because you're relying on what I've named the document. So Octiv is going to provide you a way to securely share and collaborate on a digital document that automatically manages the version and surfaces every interaction on that document. So you know who looked at it, you know who redlined it, and you know every comment and change that was made. Stage 3, we're talking about executing the contract. So the problem here is it takes too long to get a document signed often. It involves printing, scanning, faxing, mailing. So if you have a solution that allows all the other benefits that I've talked about, as well as the execution of online e-signature, then that's going to further lead to a lot of those benefits that I previously talked about. Next up, you need to store the document. Today, it's very difficult to locate completed documents, and they're spread everywhere in the organization. So what our customers want is a way to store a signed agreement in a smart document repository with strict access control. It needs to be easily searchable, and as we'll talk about next, easily reportable. And so finally, when we're analyzing a contract today, I often have limited visibility into the terms and data associated with that contract. There's no way to surface our end dates, our renewal terms, any other obligations I might have. So you need a solution that will surface those and allow you to manage the terms, the risks, and the obligations through an easy-to-use reporting engine. With Octiv, your team will have all the tools they need to sell smarter and close deals faster. And we think there are 5 key steps to managing contracts with the Octiv platform. As you can see here, the Octiv contract lifecycle management platform enables preparation, creation, collaboration, execution, and management of transactions in a digital environment. And so with Octiv, your team will have all the tools they need to sell smarter and close deals faster. Step 1 for most companies is getting all of their existing contract templates and selling materials into a centralized location. The preparation step is about setting up contract templates and clause libraries to empower business users and legal users to create new documents and contracts in a fast but controlled fashion. It's also about setting up approval workflows in advance and determining which data you want to dynamically personalize your document. And that data could be CRM data, it could be standalone metadata that just exists on the document itself. We have a very talented implementation team as well as account managers and other professionals who dedicate their time to ensuring that this preparation step is done properly. Most contract lifecycle management efforts with vendors fail because we never get out of this preparation step. It takes many months, even years to get all of that done. So you want to work with a trusted vendor who allows you to execute this step quickly and with a lot of expertise. What that will do is lead to this first step that you do see, which is the creation of documents. So step 1 here on the screen is create. And with templates, content, data, and workflow in place, the focus can shift to accelerating the new document creation process. We want to empower business users with self-service or wizard-based creation using intelligent templates that have been pre-approved by legal and marketing for salespeople to use. Then, once you've created the document, the next step in the process is sharing it with your team and your customers in a secure way, as I've mentioned. With Octiv, you can securely share large files and confidential documents with a password-protected link, or even email a copy of the document, or perhaps even text it, since all of our documents exist in their natural state as URLs that you can protect. With that shared document, it's very important to collaborate, which is where a lot of our customers see a lot of value in our system. Octiv provides a convenient and secure access to a public version of the document that can be reviewed and collaborated on by multiple parties in real time. And I've talked a lot about the digital version of a document. We really believe in that as an ethos of our company. We do recognize that many personas, such as lawyers, really want to work in Microsoft Word as well. So we do give you the flexibility to collaborate offline and still bring that document back into Octiv to maintain the integrity of the version control as well as the red lines that took place offline. And that's important because once you're ready to sign the document, most companies are wanting to e-sign this document. When the contract is finalized and agreed to, you want to execute that transaction with a legally binding electronic signature on an anytime, anywhere mobile device. So that is possible in a system, but it's also, again, important to have flexibility to load in a wet signed document and still take advantage of that storage, reporting, all the things I've talked about previously. And speaking of storage here, you want your signed copies of the agreement, the version history, and the associated document metadata automatically stored in a central and secure cloud repository. That way you get the final step that we see here, which is analyze. Especially executives, legal, and operations need access to reports to manage common risks and to provide a critical insight that you need to make data-driven decisions. Access to contract terms and data allows people to react quickly to new scenarios and deal with time-sensitive risks. And what makes Octiv effective for small and mid-sized companies and scalable for the enterprise, it starts with user experience. So user experience means that the platform can be used not only by your employees, but your customers and partners. Our platform is also flexible enough to be connected to other software systems, which I've talked about as a great strength of ours. We have a number of pre-built integrations you can use to tie data between systems and further automate your workflow. Our open API is also extremely flexible and works with any custom integrations that you might need. Lastly, administration. Our platform is mobile enabled, secure, and used around the world in multiple languages. And it's important to note that when I say mobile, what that means is we can work with any browser you might be using on any of your devices. So if I'm a recipient who's received a contract, I get an alert on my phone that that contract has come to me for some type of collaboration. I can open that on my phone default browser. If I'm on a tablet, I can view that in my tablet default browser. Or if I'm on a laptop, it's going to open up in that default browser and allow me to view that and download it offline if I so choose.
Now that you've heard an overview of Octiv, contract lifecycle management, and how we view that space, let's get into the nuts and bolts of the platform. Next up, Josh is going to give us a demonstration of just one of our example use cases and workflows. Octiv supports all different types of use cases, including building proposals, preparing presentations, drafting a contractual agreement, generating quotes, creating invoices, and many, many more. Today, you'll be seeing a demonstration of a contract creation workflow, in this case, starting from a CRM. We're also going to cover the collaboration on this contract between multiple stakeholders, the finalization and e-signature of this contract, and then see how that contract is stored in our repository, reported on, and tracked against. Josh, I'd like to turn it back over to you.
Starting out, as you can see, we're in this example within Salesforce CRM. And here we're going to go about our daily business of filling out fields and other object data, in this case, starting from an opportunity. And the data I fill in on this opportunity is going to relate to other types of information, such as the products, or perhaps taking advantage of a CPQ integration, all of that pointing toward the Octiv template that will be used to ultimately generate the document for that editing and collaboration experience. So as an end user, I'm filling in details such as my stage, close dates, amounts, regions, any sort of custom data field you would have on the opportunity, we can take advantage of. I've also, in this example, included 3 products that I want to be a part of, in this case, a quote or a full-blown contractual document. Things like a stage or other field could dictate what document should be used. So, for example, if I'm in the negotiation stage, that could automate the use of an MSA or other type of quote document. I could also give my stakeholders the freedom to choose the appropriate template from a drop-down type of field. With all of these fields in place, whether I'm taking advantage of full automation or I'm giving my users the freedom to decide what type of document they want to generate, when they're ready, they can go ahead and generate that new document through the managed package integration we have with the CRM. All documents will be stored on a related list on the opportunity as well. So I can see here at this point, I have 0 Octiv documents, but once I'm ready to generate not only will that document be automatically stored against that Salesforce record, the editing experience and collaboration experience is going to iframe directly within to the user's Salesforce instance. So there's no extra navigation. I can come in and start the continuation of my collaboration experience here. So on the left-hand side, I see our table of contents, everything that's included in this quote or this contract. And within the page of the document, I see the content of each one of those pages from within the table of contents. The user experience at this point is a combination of just reviewing the automated data that's pulled in from the opportunity, in this case, client name, logos, other types of information, as well as certain capabilities to make on-the-fly edits. So if I don't have a name specified for my contact, I can go ahead and write that in, as well as any other personalized text. Other pages, such as an order form, might be locked down, as you can see from the locked icon on this order form. This is going to show me, if I preview, all of the quote information pulling in from the integrated CPQ that we're connected to, or directly from, in this case, the CRM opportunity. Other types of language I'll also want locked down, such as MSA language, other types of information. We're going to go a long way toward automating the content to prevent any additional editing requirements from the users. So if I show excluded pages here, you'll see pages have been hidden automatically from this template because in this case there is no hardware product or European type of information, since this is a North American opportunity. Other types of information is going to be shown and hidden directly within the page itself. You see conditional content blocks here that if I give a preview are going to fall away because, again, no European presence on this contract. Only one of my term paragraphs also showed up. So more than likely, my user coming into this contract is simply maybe going to perform a quick and easy cover letter edit, and then from that point, the document will be ready for approval. And so on my template on the right-hand side, I see an automated managerial approval task that's already set up. And it's going to go to my manager, and I can let him know I'd really like to have this by the end of the day tomorrow. So once I'm ready, I assign that task. That user gets an alert through email, through text, as well as directly within the Octiv platform that task has been assigned to them. So I can go through multiple routes to get to that particular information. I've already got that called up. So if I went over to my other user's instance of Octiv and give this a refresh, I'd be able to go in and see any tasks assigned to me and be able to jump straight into those documents to go ahead and start my approval process. So as a manager, the user didn't give me much other information other than please review and approve this document. So maybe I would be going through and I would be clicking into my order form language to look at the pricing. Maybe I would be looking at some of the term language that was automated for this document. And once I'm ready, I think this looks good, I would mark this as approved. The system is going to audit exactly when that happened, who it happened with. It's going to log all of the assignee information that was included, such as comments, and send the document owner an email letting him or her know that that task has been completed. So here I can see in my personal email an example of that approval that was just completed. So as the document owner, my manager has approved this contract. It lets me know that again through email or text. I can jump straight back into this document without logging back into Salesforce or any other type of environment if I so choose. Since I'm already logged in here, I can go ahead and see that that task has been approved. And my next step is to go ahead and send this document to my recipient, in this case, my third party. With Octiv, we try to maintain this digital workflow in an online capacity so that instead of downloading this offline, sending a Word document or a PDF, I publish this document and am able to send this directly to my main CRM contact right from our solution. So I can go ahead and tell my system I want to add my main Salesforce contact. If no such contact appears, and maybe if we're disconnected from a CRM, I have the ability just to type in the user that this should go to. We're fully integrated with DocuSign in this experience as well, so that I can tell my system if I know the signer order, who this should go to first, or if I don't know this person is a signer, give them the permission to add who that particular role would be. I'm ready to submit that. The system prompts me to send this user their invite into the system. So with our default email template selected, I'm going to go ahead and send my third party the invitation into this online contract document. That person will receive that notification through an email much like the one you see here. They'll be completely branded to our client organization with all the appropriate email template language. And when that user, the third party in this case, is ready to review this contract, instead of reviewing an attachment or finding an attachment in email, they're presented with a URL where they can review this document in an online fashion. The system knows that this is the person who should be receiving this document, so there's no extra login or other types of information necessary at this point. So as a third party, a customer, I've received this contract, and now I'm viewing this in a microsite. And that microsite is fully trackable, as you'll see a little bit later. So now as a customer, I've got a few different ways I can go through this document. I can look at this in a linear fashion, paging from page to page. I can look at my table of contents and jump straight to a particular section of this document with a simple click. If I do really need to take this offline, I can see I have the ability to download this document if I've been given the permission to do so. And that could be downloaded to PDF if I simply need this in an offline version to review, or to Word if I want to redline this version offline, in which case my third-party customer can redline this in Word, send this back to me in Octiv as a document owner, and I can upload that into the system, and we can recognize all of those offline redlines that took place. For our purposes today, let's say we will keep this in a digital experience, so I can see my calls to action at the top of this document. So if I have a basic question I want to ask the document owner, I can simply type that in, and that's going to give that person an email notification that I'm asking a question. If I'm ready to sign, which we'll do a little bit later, I can see here I'm going to be able to click here to sign the document. Or if I have a suggested change request or a red line, I can click this call to action, and that's going to unlock this document for an editing experience, in which case I can, just like I could offline, perform a red line, make a comment, or other type of information. So earlier I mentioned a term. Let's say my customer in this case wants to change this 30-day term to a 60-day term. So I can see a deletion marked in red, that addition marked in green. Perhaps if I want to give some context for that, I can provide a comment. If I try to delete an entire paragraph, the system is going to recognize that. If I try to copy and paste in or just type in new text, the system is automatically going to recognize that as well, without the need to turn on or off track changes. So if I go through each page and make my suggested changes, I can see on the right here I'm still within version 1 as the customer, and I'm ready to go ahead and submit this back to you for approval. All the appropriate notifications have been sent around. I just felt my pocket vibrate, so I just got a text as the document owner that that document has been finalized for my initial track change. So let's say in this case I'm playing the role of both the change request approver as well as the document owner. So it is my responsibility to review these changes. If I had set a different person to be responsible for these change requests, that person would be notified of this particular task. Whoever that person is, once they're ready to review these changes, they're automatically brought up on the right-hand pane here, so that I don't have to look for them or scroll through pages of text to find the red lines. For example, I can just click on the first one and it'll take me right there. In this example, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to accept that 30 to 60 day change. I'm going to reject this deleted text and I'll accept that new text. All of my comments are sequestered here at the bottom, in which case I only have one, so I can go ahead and reply. And the system will maintain all of the comments that took place on this first version. So if that is all the work I need to do now, in this case no pending requests left, I submit that as a new version, and what happens is the system automatically creates version 2 of this document. On your side or the customer side, I can always toggle between versions to see exactly what took place, what was suggested, what was accepted or rejected, and any commentary that was left. The system lets me know that V2 is my current version, and I have the option as the document owner to initiate an additional internal change. Maybe I want to add in a new clause based on feedback, or to make this version signable. Back on my customer side, I can see this document has changed, and because we're doing this in real time, I can go ahead and reload this. Over time, probably, if this is taking place over hours or days, more than likely you'll be relying on email or text alerts to let them know that that is done. But in this case, as the customer, I can go ahead and initiate additional changes on behalf of this document. But in this example, let's say we're doing this in real time. So I've reloaded my document, and instead of initiating a second round of change requests, I'm going to go ahead and e-sign this document. Once I do so, it's going to prepare this document for signing and automatically route me into my DocuSign environment, where as the customer, I can go ahead and complete my signature, as well as initiate any additional responsibilities that have been assigned to me, such as an initial, or maybe I need to add more information, maybe I need to include an attachment. So I can go through, in this case, I am asked to initial my order form. I am asked to, as well, to sign and provide my title. That's all I've been asked to do, in this case, a single sign workflow, so that for this particular document, it doesn't need to be countersigned by the customer. So once my recipient has finished this, I can go ahead and finalize this workflow. And actually, the system is going to do a lot of that for me. Octiv is automatically going to provide the customer a signed PDF version of this document that they can keep for their records, and they can always access through this URL that we have been working within. It's going to do the same on the document owner side. So it provides them an update that this document is signed. All of my email alerts have been sent around that this document has been finalized. It provides me a signed PDF that I can access. And it also updates connected systems. So not only is it sending out the appropriate alerts, but I'm still within Salesforce, and if I go back to my opportunity record, I will see that pertinent information has been updated on this opportunity record. Most importantly, I can see my workflow is updated to closed won. So that's going to be done within my workflow indicator in this Lightning experience, as well as my stage. I can see my published proposal URL in a very convenient place that I can locate. And I can always jump straight into my Octiv documents area to see where that document is stored. And we're going to store a lot of related data with that document as well. I can see how many times it was viewed, when it was last viewed, what its status is, values, updates, those kinds of things. This columnar experience is very configurable to decide what information you want in your CRM, and then we can piggyback off of workflows in your system to route appropriate notifications or workflows based on requirements for subsequent activity. So this status as accepted could then trigger maybe a welcome document or some other sort of starter kit workflow that you already have within Salesforce. I'm also going to jump back into this document and talk a little bit about the document level reporting that we have. So we've seen some of the notifications that are flying around. We've talked about the text alerts, but on this document as well, we're always going to be able to view reports, whether they are accessed through those notifications or right within the document itself. And what that report is going to show the document owner or associated user is stats and analytics around views and engagement. So I can see my customer came into this document 3 separate times. Maybe that's indicative of a first open, one round of red lines, and then an e-signature. 14 different pages were looked at, how much time was spent total in the document, and that can be broken down by page as well. So if we have these connected pages here, I can break this down by my different users and see, all right, how much time did my customer spend on certain pages? And this is going to be really important for especially proposal or quote types of documents where you might present a lot of different types of information, from marketing content, case studies, white papers, videos, of course the pricing sections, about us sections, opportunity recap sections. You're going to want to know where they've spent the most amount of time so that you can then follow up with more targeted and proper conversations based on that engagement. We can also see if they took this document offline. So if they have taken it offline and shared this, if they've redlined this offline and sent it back, I'd be able to see that level of engagement as well. And we're also going to roll up into more macro level analytics with things like days to close, total times this template has been used, how many documents this user is generating on a weekly or monthly basis. All of that is going to roll up into macro level reporting that takes place right within the Octiv platform as well. So we've talked about in this case how we are looking at some of the document level analytics. Certainly back on the opportunity itself, I'm able to see all the updates that took place on this record. Certainly the storage of this document automatically taking place is going to be a big time saver. But the end user, the document owner and creator, is not the only stakeholder who wants to see data and analytics around this particular document. So we want to give access to non-CRM users to be able to take advantage of that information as well. So what we have, if you follow my navigation here, is a connected Octiv platform that is more for the administrative user or some sort of content manager who's responsible for document management or document reporting. And so if I go into my documents repository that's connected to that Salesforce instance, for instance, I can see at the very top of my list that MSA that was just accepted, signed, and closed. And I see in this example on the right all of that same type of data that I was just looking at within Salesforce, accessible to a broader audience. And I can view that exact same report that I just looked at. Other things I can do here and that we can kind of set up a workflow for is document relationships. So if I want to associate this MSA with subsequent SOWs or order forms or amendments, I'd be able to see all of those relationships right here. And the same would be true if I had created an SOW and I want to relate that to its master. Certainly, we cross document types as well, as you can see here on the left-hand pane. So if I wanted to equate a proposal with an eventual contract, I would be able to see that relationship in the system. Other types of things I can do as an administrative user if I edit this particular document is I can see a metadata template. So if I wanted to, upon the load of this document or upon the creation of this document earlier, associate some reportable terms, I could. So if I had updated and connected this to maybe a net 30 type of term, which we actually negotiated in net 60, I would be able to set this and report on it in the system. And you can see if this is auto renew, yes or no. These are 100% configurable, so certainly nothing that's just out of the box here. Then from there, what we'll want to do as an administrative user with this repository is both proactive reporting and reactive types of activities taking place off of alerts. So if I wanted to find a certain type of contract, I can see, for instance, my payment terms. I want to look for all of my net 60 payment terms, in which case I just set that particular document to be. I could search for that, and I can see that document that was just associated with that particular opportunity. So in a proactive fashion, if I want to always search for certain types of documents, I could do so, and then I could save those searches for easy access in a later session. In a more reactive fashion with some of those advanced terms that you just saw, if I need to set up my system to alert me on an end date, we can set up a signal in our system so that if my end date is within a certain time frame, I can be notified as a document owner or watcher or group as to some sort of action that needs to take place. Thank you for taking the time to look through the Octiv platform and see just one of our example use cases and workflows, of which there are many, and we look forward to talking to you in the future. Thank you.
That is it. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Josh, thank you so much for helping us to understand the growing role of document generation and contract management, showing us how you can use technology solutions to drive productivity, and giving us a live demo of Octiv's platform. If you would like to learn more about Octiv, please feel free to reach out to us at sales@octiv.com. We have an entire team who loves helping companies transform the way organizations sell and improve the buying experience. Thank you again for joining us today for a live platform demo. We really appreciate it. Have a wonderful afternoon.